But regardless, we are going to be jumping into the land down under the sea. It's Oceanborn. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right, we of course have our blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He is of course going to be representing his team, Team Falcons. We have Rogue, sexy boy.
Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Zvz going for a pool first opener. Okay, we have the Australian Zerg player, the veteran of the region, returning after a long time of retirement and still able to go toe-to-toe with the best of them out there. It is Ryan NXZ Jones. Any free in the chat? Predictions are open. Place your bets, man. Yeah. Place your bets.
Yeah, place your bets unless you're from Denmark, Singapore, or Poland.
Ah, smooth.
As Kuro is informing us. So may try ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, unable to do predictions in every country, but you know, if you're out there, you can get your Gamba going. If not, VPN just for Gamba.
Yeah. It's a way. You cross over the worlds.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So you have an option. As for now, NXZ member going for his pool first. We have 6 Lings on the way. Now, the purpose of this is just to get a couple of drone kills to wreak a little bit of havoc and to macro out of this. It's a bit of a cheeky way to open up. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, against a player like Rogue, who is, you know, pretty well known for deflecting against early game aggression like this, it's going to be a lot tougher here for NXZ. It's going to be relying a lot on that element of surprise, which is why I like the fact that his Ling Team 6 have just gone full Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And have completely avoided the Overlords.
They did kind of hunker down. They put up the box and they were able to scuttle their way across the map. Meanwhile, we see Rogue getting his own defensive Lings up and running. I say defensive Lings. That's actually a decent chunk of Lings on the way. But again, we'll see if we can get any drone kills.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky now that we have a handful of Lings out, but yeah, fortunately for Ryan, Rogue did send a couple of his Lings across the map, so it would have been a better situation here to get a drone kill or two, but unfortunately for Ryan, Rogue was on top of that drone drilling and only one ended up going down.
Exactly, just one drone kill. That's not enough. We got a full scout. We do get eyes on the Baliness as well. And Rogue is now fully aware of the aggression of Ryan. Back at home, we should be setting up. We have our Queens on the low ground. Defensive Baliness, wall off as well. We'll see how Rogue does respond to the Ling Bane of NXZ.
Yeah, we're keeping our eyes glued on that production tab to see when, if at all, he throws down a Baneling Nest of his own.
I like this. So I think that was intentional. NXZ, he just showed his links to the Overlord, and obviously Rogue, he saw the Baneling Nest, so Ryan's he's droning. NXZ, he's droning on up. He's getting a third base. Because he got scattered, he's not committing to the Ling Bane.
That he is not, but unfortunately, does this Overlord scout the it scouts the hatch, and now Rogue is well aware that NXZ is looking to fake him out, but he's not going to get faked out.
Yeah, Rogue, he's aware of the third base. Now, he still did wall off, so because of this, Rogue is still playing 2-base. We have the Lair on the way. It's going to be 2-base Roach out of Rogue. Technically, it could be 2-base Muta as well. We keep an eye on Rogue. But this tells me that Ryan is going to be taking a bit of an economic advantage, but we'll see how aggressive Rogue plans on being.
Yeah, typically I imagine Rogue to be quite aggressive, especially on a map like Oceanborn. It's still in my brain, like ESL Masters Dallas, Rogue versus Solar on Oceanborn, where he just all-in'd every map, but made it look like he was playing macro.
Yeah, exactly. He's done that before, and here he catches a Queen. Very nice pick off. The Queen is going to be going down. Rogue making his way into the mineral, and as well, drones are under fire. Ooh, and Ryan is rushing into roaches, but they're still not done yet.
They are not. We're going to have a couple of... Okay, those are Ryan's Banelings. Green and blue, that's definitely a color combination. Not as bad as green and red, surprisingly, in ZvZ.
There you go. And here we go. NXZ, he droned up to 31, and he's moving out across the map with Ling, Roach, Bane. It's going to be an all-in here out of Ryan. The third base is just for show. It's just for Larva. But Rogue is staying on 2 bases, so it's not going to be easy to break this 2-base setup.
Especially when you have a full wall like this. I mean, maybe if the Banelings focus down the building Evo chamber, but now we have a couple of roaches out for Rogue as well. We have plenty of high NG queens. There's a lot of transfuse potential here. We do get it surrounded roaches though.
Yeah, we're going to be slowly working our way in. Banelings are on the way as well. Queens being targeted down. Banelings will be able to make it through, and can they get into the mineral lines? Up.
And they're gonna try. A lot of these drones start to bunch up. The Queen's a little bit distracted with the roaches on the front line. Roaches distracted with the roaches on the front line. Rogue does split up his drones very, very nicely though. And in the end, he may still lose them.
I mean, some drones are going down, but we defend. We clean up the roaches. GG gets called. Rogue, he does hold. He does survive. And Rogue takes game number 1.
GG. Very nicely done.
It was definitely close though. Like again, if the splitting was any worse, if the Banelings got some good connections, if we were able to cripple the economy of Rogue, then maybe NXZ could have gone into a longer game and tried to macro out of it, but unfortunately the splitting was too good, and Rogue barely lost any drones there in the defense.
Yeah, I mean, his drone drilling was just on point. His splitting was on point as well. We could see that there was a moment in that final engagement where Rogue just did not care at all about the Banelings, focused entirely on the roaches, because he knew he could split up his drones well enough that even if the Banelings did connect, as they did, he would still be able to minimize his losses.
Oh yeah. And we'll see if we can try to catch Rogue off guard this time here. It was, again, a crazy game out of NXZ, and he almost caught Rogue with his pants down. Again, that was a clutch defense out of Rogue. It was almost going the way of Ryan, but we'll see. So we're getting into game 2.
Indeed, we are, as we load into Ghost River. We're over here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our blue Zerg player coming out from
Korea.
the land not down under, the Korea land, the land of the dwarves, as I've been told pretty recently.
Excuse me?
That's apparently a meme that's been circulating on like Naver and stuff. Korea is the dwarven kingdom.
Like Kim
I'll
Lee's
find a
from
link
Korea.
at some point later on.
Saying?
Apparently, yeah, apparently.
Okay.
Because, you know, both Korea and the Dwarven lands are very mountainous. I don't remember what the full thing is, but yeah, that's apparently a thing. Anyway, here we have a player who is not a dwarf when it comes to his legend and his results and his reputation. A titan, if you will, of the scene and of Zerg. He is a blue Zerg player representing Team Falcons. Skra! We have Rogue.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Australian Zerg player, the returning veteran, retired for a long time, but making his re-debut, his comeback, if you will, after a long hiatus, representing himself, currently teamless, representing the kids out there. It is Ryan NXZ Jones.
Fellow kids.
True. Feels bad. Like, don't bring up how old he is, okay? You'll make him smooch.
There's the other option where it's not just Ryan, but Ryan and Kelisa. It's how do you do, fellow Singapore players?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with adopting Ryan and Diego.
Yeah, that's fine. We accept them. We accept them. As for now, it was a Hatchgas full standard opener out of Ryan. Meanwhile, Rogue did go for a 15-15, bit of a safer opener out of Rogue instead. There's a reason why Rogue has not been able to start Link speed, unlike his opponent, and that is because Rogue did delay his gases. So because the gases have been delayed, it's possible that Rogue might skip Link speed, wall off, and play 2 base again.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a trickier map to do so on Go server, as obviously it's a much shorter rush distance than on Oceanborn, and it looks like Ryan is gambling or hope banking on the idea that Rogue is gonna assume that Ryan's playing aggressive again, because that's a much earlier third.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a standard third base timing here out of Ryan, unlike the previous games, and we can see the Rogue is walling up. He's walling up on 2 bases. He is indeed skipping Ling speed, so he's going to try to skip the Ling Bane phase of the game and go straight towards Roach play instead.
Yeah, which I think really does suit. How he's played so far, or rather, what he's been able to glean from his opponent in NXZ. He knows that the Roaches are probably a lot more reliable when it comes to defending and then going for a counter aggression, especially on such a short rush as this map, like Ghost River. So, all in all, I'm liking this move a lot for Rogue.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he wants to just settle down, get into his game. He does fully wall off. Meanwhile, Ryan has, of course, recognized there is no third base, that there is a full wall, and Ryan is skipping his Bailey Nest, very similar to what Rex did. Rex got punished for it, but this time Rogue isn't going for like a Ling flood across the map. So, you know, we're going to be able to get away with canceling and skipping the Bailey Nest and getting into Roach play as well.
Yeah. So surprisingly, the shortest map in the current map pool is going to be the one that we actually do see a little bit of mid-game play coming out from our players. Not too much. I can't imagine we'll be seeing too much. I can't imagine we'll have a Hydra Den or anything like that thrown down. I'm not even sure if we're going to get a single Ravager this series, but yeah, we're at least not coming right off the gates with that Ling Bane aggression.
Yeah, and the question becomes, is Rogue going to even expand, right? Is he going to take a third base, or is he going to go all in on 2 bases? We have the answer. He is breaking out. The drone is on the way, and he is attempting to take that third.
This drone has its own Vanguard, but it's not going to save it. Nice little pick off here for NXZ.
Yeah, he does pick off that worker, but Roaches are amassing. Okay, backup drone on the way. Rogue is still going to expand, and Ryan does need to confirm this. NXZ does need to confirm that there is indeed a base on the way, as back at home, Ryan is focusing on his own Roach aggression, on his own Roach production.
Yep. He knows that he is very vulnerable right now. He's just about poked the bear. So even though Rogue is still going to be going for this third base, I mean, there's no way for him to saturate it right now. He might as well just make more Roaches. And what do you do when you make a lot of Roaches? You go across the map. I stand corrected. We actually are seeing Ravagers.
Yeah, Ravagers are on the way. Rogue is going for a 2-base all in. The third is just for Larva. Just for Larva. Rogue, he has cut workers. He's on 43 drones. That is all he has. And we're moving out across the map. We're hoping to supply block NXZ as well. And it's all or nothing. Can Ryan hold? Can he survive this?
We shall see. He's going to have the defender's advantage on his side. Obviously, he doesn't have any Ravagers, so it's going to be tricky for him to force Micro out from Rogue. Rogue will have a lot of AoE potential, especially if NXZ gets back into a choke point.
Yeah, the Queen gets sniped, so that will impact the injects here of Ryan. He's started stepping forward. He does avoid, for the most part, the Wilds. He's trying to get on top of the Queens.
Trying to, and he is taking out the Roaches one by one. The transfuses, though, the clutch transfuses from Rogue are really coming in clutch.
Yeah, and we're getting into the Ravagers as well. Nice target firing out of NXZ. He does focus down almost every single Ravager. There's 3 Ravagers left. Oh, but it did cost us a lot of supply.
Indeed, it did. Rogue still has a lot of workers or supply left over to keep this momentum going. NXZ, he's got the defender's advantage, and Roaches are about to pop, but if they trickle in, then that's exactly what Rogue wants to happen. The Queens overextending a little bit, and they are going to go down. It looks like Ryan has held.
Oh, he does barely hold on. Very nice control out of Ryan. He was so slick there when it came to micring and when it came to focus firing every single Ravager. There's 1 Ravager remaining, but Rogue has lost the backbone of his army. And again, the longer this goes on, the better it is for NXZ, as he does have the greater economy. Well, as I say that, though, Rogue is still just hammering down that arc. He is still trying to force his way up the ramp. +2 is on the way. Rogue is droning.
Yeah, he knows that he has to get back up. He knows that he can't quite break Ryan from this position here. So Ryan, he scouts through the links. He confirms, yep, that is Rogue droning. I can have a little bit of map control as a treat.
Oh, exactly. As NXZ, he's gonna actually continue to move out across the map. He's hoping to maybe try to catch Rogue droning, as Rogue has been able to saturate his bases up to an even worker count of his opponents. And Ryan, he does commit up the ramp.
Yeah, dodges a pile, but there's still plenty of roaches and ravagers. The defender's advantage this time on Rogue's side. Just the wrong call to make, unfortunately. GG. Rogue gonna be taking that series 2-0. Whew, GG.
GG, well played. A very clutch game there. Honestly, it was a very impressive defense there out of NXZ. But as we saw with that move out, NXZ, he was hoping that maybe Rogue was droning up more than he was. He was hoping that maybe he would just fully saturate his natural and there'd be a window where he could take advantage of Rogue. As we saw, Rogue was more than ready on top of the ramp and he had more than enough to deal with it.
Yeah, that was a game that I think was kind of going NXZ's favor until it wasn't. Until he moved across the map like that, and I can't say I blame him too much. I mean, he saw an opportunity to potentially attack Rogue while he had his pants down, but Rogue, he had a pretty tight belt in the form of a whole bunch of roaches and ravagers. NXZ was not gonna be able to really punish him at that specific point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was unable to punish him then and there. It was close though. It was a very close game, and I hope NXZ doesn't feel too bad about that performance. He got 2-0 by Rogue, and Rogue is one of the best players in the world, so there's no shame in that. And NXZ didn't look too bad in the series either. So I'm hoping that it inspires him to commit a little bit more and to maybe play more often. NXZ, he has been very anxious about returning to the competitive scene.
I have to ask, where is Ryan located right now?
Right now, he's back in Australia.
Oh, okay. Because I remember he was mentioning, dude, the ping in Singapore, dude, that was... That's like, you know...
Yeah,
ideal.
It was definitely ideal. I was telling him that, I was like, mate, when you were in Singapore, you should have been like laddering as much as possible. He's like, I had other priorities, Papi. He was working his career, he was working on other things, which of course makes sense. But yeah. Regardless, it's cool to have Ryan back. He only returned recently, like a week or two ago. So